Mutant Mayhem.
I'm struggling of what is
For
my
words.
favorite of the summer.
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed it.
it's rough out here.
We've been spoiled. We have been spoiled this summer.
I am so glad that animation is alive and well.
Oh,
Um,
can't say thank you enough to Spider-Verse because
yeah,
they've opened up this like new era of animated films, and I'm all for it. All for it.
and I think next week we'll talk about Seth Rogen because we need to discuss Seth Rogen.
The main man.
Yeah, because he's been kind of scooting under the radar, and we can't have that any longer. But let's get into this. So, I think the first thing that I'd already heard about, but like was actually very noticeable, was the fact that where possible, they had the people in a scene record their lines together.
Yeah, they did group
So
recording sessions.
the four boys were always together in a scene they were together in.
Yeah.
Which you could tell.
Oh yeah.
Like the bits when they're like all being teenagers and they're all talking at the same time, it doesn't feel like four people recorded their lines and they've been layered over each other. It felt like four brothers there bumping off of each other. Going, yeah, but because you can tell they're like being slightly distracted by the other person.
Well, yeah,
in the way you would be.
That's the thing. It's like traditionally, had they all recorded separately, like yeah, you can somewhat emulate that by like mixing and chopping it, but like you're not gonna get the true effect of four people like all talking at once and about like jumping in each other's gaps and stuff. Like
Yeah,
it came across very natural because of
100%.
that.
The animation was just flawless. I
Oh,
love it so much.
I love that animation style. It was so cool.
It really, really worked.
Yeah.
It wasn't as flashy as the Spider-Verse films because it wasn't dealing with something which gives you an easy way to use different art styles.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Spider-Verse being multiversal, they can use that as an excuse to throw up different art styles at you, which makes it flashier. But it was such a nice art style. They pulled no punches with it. It was all so well put together, so colourful. But the actual voice acting is second to none. I've never been less aware of a famous person's voice, which is what 90% of the cast is.
Yeah.
Behind an animation. Normally, if there's a really famous voice actor, all you can do is imagine them saying the words. But they didn't fall into that trap at all, and I was really, really impressed.
Oh yeah, like all. I don't know if it's just because they had the cast locked in so early, they were able to like maybe even write the characters more into the what the actors and actresses were like. Because like one thing in particular is like they had to have got Jackie Chan locked in very early for Splinter, because just the way, whether it's the way it was written or Jackie Chan just put his spin on his lines, but like it just felt like Jackie Chan. Like the character was very much Jackie Chan, and it worked. Like we said before, like it even came out with like it's the perfect choice. It worked perfectly.
Yeah. It was the casting that no one knew they wanted, but everyone, the second they heard it, was like, "Oh yeah, no, good job."
But at like no point did it feel like Jackie Chan. Like it didn't feel like Jackie Chan playing a Splinter. It just felt like Jackie Chan. Like it's just him, and it, like because of that, you don't get pulled out like you say, hearing like a big name voice, and then you're like, oh wait, that's so and so. No, it just felt like the characters. They all their characters fit so well. Yeah, and I think the really four lads really did like embody each of the turtles. Like the casting was perfect in my opinion.
Either them four actors are phenomenal, which they might be anyway, or
Yeah.
they worked really hard on letting them spend a lot of time together before they started recording so that they all got to know each other really well. It might
Yeah.
be a bit column A, a bit column B, but
Mm.
it feels like more than just one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like they are definitely very talented, and like this is gonna just elevate their careers.
Yeah.
But then also like they, because maybe they're all the same age, they're probably all into Teenage Mutant and shit. Like they all gelled so well, and obviously had the time to get to that like brotherly energy that it then just obviously paid off on screen.
Yeah. The story was solid.
Oh yeah, the story was great.
I think I'm always going to be a sucker for like a coming of age style film, because that's what it was. They started
Yeah,
off as four kids who were taught martial arts because their dad is essentially a kook.
yeah,
Um, and all they wanted to do was find a way to be popular. And if that meant using their martial arts, that's what they were going to do. That was the premise. Yeah, it
mm.
spiraled into a bigger thing.
Oh yeah, it was just they just wanted to be the hero so they could go to school.
Exactly.
It was as simple as that.
And this is something that I've noticed that we are seeing, and these are the films that we're happiest with. The ones where it doesn't start off as a end of the world problem,
Mm-hmm.
but morphs into one,
Yeah,
work
it
a lot better than
scales.
just the second you know there's a problem, it is an end of the world problem. Because even though you can use your critical thinking to go, I mean, this guy probably is up to some really bad stuff. The characters
Mm-hmm.
don't know yet, and that affects how they behave.
Yes,
And it's definitely a style that I think is working better. And
I'd.
even if you look back at older MCU films,
Mm,
that was when they were at their best as well. Like Age of Ultron wasn't instantly an end of the world problem.
no, it became that. Like it
I
went
mean, the
from
MCU wasn't an end of the
no.
universe problem. It built to that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think what like especially with this as well with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was like you say it wasn't an end of the world situation, and although by the end of it, it was like a pretty dire situation for like the city, it scaled into that. Like, and I wouldn't even say that I was expecting it to get to that level for this film. I was thinking, okay, they're dealing with bad guy, they'll end up being bad guy. Maybe there's a tease of bigger villains at play for future films because we knew a second one was coming.
uh-huh.
But like the fact that they obviously we were hooked in because it was like relatable issue for them, small town thing, but then they were able to scale it into something bigger and a bigger threat that we were like, oh shit, no, this works. This keeps us enticed.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I loved the end mutant, like the visual of like that
yeah.
mess, just a pile of mess.
One of my favorite things ever was in this film as well.
Oh.
One of my favorite action scenes when they were chasing down like the henchmen, and they had like the mirroring scenes but with the different people, and they were like cutting between them.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. I loved it so much. There was something about the way that, because obviously it was like a template and they were just changing the assets that were on top of it,
Yeah.
but it's flowed together so nicely, and it cut out like it cut out the joke of, oh, you've got to go talk to this person and this person and this person and this person. And
Yeah.
it was like, well, do that all in one go, which is a bit of a gag
Yeah.
to cut out some unnecessary time, but we'll also give it in cool animation.
Mm-hmm.
And it just worked so well. And like the way you got to see each of their own, like, even though it worked as one fluid motion, you still got to see each of the guys' unique fighting style.
Yes.
So you had like Mikey just being fucking chaotic. You had Raph getting really aggressive. You had Leo being really precise, and Donnie just not like second guessing himself at all times because I've only got a stick.
Yeah. It honestly, the way they showcased them fighting and the animation and how they like, in a way, it was like although we saw them train and we know that the turtle like they can fight and we obviously expect that they can do martial arts, obviously they hadn't done that really. They haven't actually fought anyone. So the way that they told the story of them, like realizing, oh wait, this is all instinct, and we actually are fucking nuts. But they didn't realize that, and it was like all like happy accidents at first. But then by the end of the film, they were just like absolutely beating people up left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed how they portrayed that for like at the early stages.
But I mean, even the comedy was on point, top to
Oh, the
bottom.
comedy
Like
was great.
the running joke of you're gonna get milked on the surface world, and everyone's like, "That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
How do you milk a turtle?" And
yeah,
then they get strapped in, and she's like, "Milk them of all
yeah.
their blood."
When they're all strapped in, you realize, wait, that actually Splinter was right. They are gonna get milked. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
And then when he saves them, and he's like, "Does that say milker?"
Yeah, all the little jokes. Me and the girlfriend at the end when they were like figuring out how to fight the huge thing, like, well, you watch anime, and like surely there's something in all those comics and books that like you know something. My girlfriend's like, Attack on Titan, they're gonna use and then he goes, Attack on Titan, the Titans. And we're like, oh shit, that's actually how it went. Like just the pure chance that it went that way.
It was so good. I really hope that they can live up to this with the second one that's rumored to be happening and the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I think with this animation style, a slightly more experienced group of turtles
Mm-hmm.
versus Shredder could be peak.
Oh yeah, I think the second film, and obviously this one ended with that silhouette of Shredder and the name drop, which was kind of what we expected. I feel
Yeah,
we knew
kind
it
of has
wasn't.
happened, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it wasn't going to be in this film, but knowing there was a second already confirmed, like it was obviously going to tease it. I think, like you say, more experienced turtles, but I think it'll be interesting because I feel like it's going to be more experienced turtles, but then Shredder's going to be too much for them, and then it's going to be like that overcoming that. What's going
Yeah,
to be interesting is the TV show or the TV series. At least what one season's been confirmed.
yeah, I believe so.
I'm interested to see if that's how they're going to use all these other mutant characters that are now just floating around. Like, are they? Is it like one episode in this first season is going to have Post Malone makes a little cameo as his little character? Because obviously they're not going to do every episode. They've got busy schedules, but like,
Yeah,
I think there's this chance now where you're going to have the little fun episodes where like they deal with, I don't know,
Paul Rudd turning up.
yeah, Paul Rudd's helping them with some issue or something, like it's, or like them going through school. It's going to show like the side of like what's going on in between. I think that'll be really interesting to see how that series does.
100%. I mean, we're coming into the summer. We were just about aware of this. It wasn't something we
Yeah, it kind of popped up.
100% knew was happening. And it's ended up like being one of my highlights. It's been so good. And I genuinely cannot wait for more.
Do you know what also was so good about this? Like we've talked about the animation style and everything else. The soundtrack.
Oh
The
yeah.
music options throughout the film, I fucking loved. Like the amount of hip hop and New York hip hop that got used.
Do you want to know the only thing I would have liked to see? And it
Go
would
on.
have been very expensive, probably.
Go on.
If they would have done a new version of the old theme, like Heroes in a Half
Yeah.
Shell, Turtle Power,
I
with like an Ice Cube beat behind it and a verse to give it that. Obviously, I know he was LA in that, but give it a bit of a New York flavor and just like make it fit the soundtrack. It
that
could have worked
I think
so well.
that's something I wish they'd done as well. And do you know what else that's reminding me of? I was really hoping by the end that throughout the whole film they kept like hinting at their name, but like messing it up or tweaking it. It's like, oh, you're like teenage martial art turtles, and it's like, come on, just say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like just. But it never at all did it get to that point. But yeah, I think if we'd had a remake of the original song, that would have been so good. You could have had
it would have hit.
Have Post Malone do it.
Yeah, it just has the ability to go so viral and be such a good marketing source. But I would I think we'd be remiss not to demand that everyone goes out and watch it straight away, because it is one of the most fun experiences you can have in the cinema right now.
Oh, it was so good.
So,
Honestly,
so damn good.
it's made me fall in love with the Turtles all over again.
Yeah, 100%. I hope a whole new generation is
Yeah.
falling in love with them.
I want this new era. I want it to be.
I hope a bunch of like 8 to 11-year-olds were taken out to see that by their parents, and they've all gone.
Yeah.
But like even before, which was mind-boggling, we sat there and obviously you got all the adverts for the film stars, and there was like an old school style advert for the action figures.
Yes.
Like showing off
the
the
new
action
ones.
figures. I'm like, oh my god, it's been. I didn't even know they did adverts like this anymore.
Yes.
Obviously, I've just grown out of like the target audience for.
Well, yeah, we
I
don't see
them. But I was like, oh, I just thought they'd given up doing adverts this way. This is brilliant.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. That obviously came on, and I was like, oh my god, it's like a classic toy advert. But then, like you say, we just don't watch cartoons, so obviously we don't see those adverts. Like they're only on between cartoons and TV. So it's like we don't see those like cheesy toy adverts anymore. And seeing it in the new versions of like the toys was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that.